The movie opens up in the Suffolk coast of England as Old Man Bill wakes up in the dead of night atop his lighthouse. There is a heavy blizzard outside with dark clouds, snow, and even thunder covering the horizon. Bill takes out his small telescope and searches for something in this dark and dreary sky. He eventually finds what he is looking for: Santa in his carriage. Almost immediately, Bill gets back in his lighthouse, and with great struggle shifts a huge torch towards the sky. Back amidst the clouds, Santa is struggling to find his way as he is being hit with never-ending snow. He soon sees a hot yellow ray of light shine nearby and gets a sense of the lighthouse's direction. He then asks his trusty reindeer to land using the lighthouse's torch. On his way down to the ground, Santa thanks his longtime friend Bill for helping. Shortly afterwards, Santa Claus, in his patented red onesie, lands on top of a local house. He is currently in the last village in England, Wellington-on-Sea. The clock is ticking. It's late night on Christmas Eve, and he wants to get his job done so that he can get back home. However, as the list of presents for this coastal village comes out, Santa realizes something is up. There seems to be a lot of problems here, and there is only one bearded magical old man who can solve it. The scene shifts a few days ago to December 22nd at 4 a.m. In the seaside Suffolk town of Wellington-on-Sea, everyone is getting ready to celebrate the holiday. We are introduced to the new boy in town, Danny Williams, who is trying to adjust to his parents' recent divorce. He is headed to his school wearing what appears to be a huge potato suit. He wants to be heard and noticed by people, especially his crush Sam Beckles. On the other hand, Sam is a very good-hearted but anxious girl who is constantly worrying about everything, not least about her twin sister Charlie. Turns out the school is gearing up for a Christmas play, which is being directed by the rebellious 19-year-old Bernadette McNutt. Charlie, who is supposed to be playing the role of Joseph, is nowhere to be seen. We also get a brief glimpse of Mrs. Trapper, the school's strict principal who seems to put fear into anyone, children, and parents alike. Meanwhile, in the backstage, new boy Danny is mocked because he is supposed to be a chickpea, but looks very much like a boiled potato. Shortly afterwards, the play starts, and Bernadette takes center stage to address the parents in the audience. She says Jesus was a cool dude who helped people and was basically into hipster stuff, so he wouldn't have wanted the people to repeat the same play year after year. That is exactly why she has come up with something new, wanting to change things up for the holiday, as they each experience the holiday in different lights. Soon, Charlie, who has arrived late but is carrying a beard that looks suspiciously like dog's fur, takes the stage as Joseph. As the play goes on, we realize that Bernadette has put a more liberal spin on the nativity scene that not many of the parents enjoy. Danny almost misses his cue as he is staring at Sam, and Charlie arrives at the last minute and torments parent Nisha Muligi during the show. Once the play is over, Principal Trapper seems to be relieved. She tells everyone to get changed to their regular clothes and head back to their parents. She also announces that tomorrow they will celebrate term's end with quadruple algebra and lice check. The latter seems to be aimed at Danny, who has a rather curious habit of scratching his head when he is confused. Outside, a group of parents and students get into Bernadette's parents' van, a vehicle that Bernadette's father has named as Beyoncé. This group lives in the same neighborhood, so they all travel together. As they drive along, we get a brief look into daily life in Wellington. It is a lovely seaside town of cycle rides, bumpy roads, shiny streets, and warm people. The town center is being decorated for annual Christmas festivities, organized by Santa's old buddy, Lighthouse Bill. After a while, everyone reaches their neighborhood, and Bernadette's father, Mr. McNutt, lets everyone disembark his van. Danny reaches his home and is upset that his mother had to leave for work, but not surprised. She is a nurse, the only one around town, and is oftentimes away from home due to her professional duties. She, however, has left a series of sticky notes on various places through which she commends her son for being a fabulous chickpea in the school's play. The little boy is bummed that his father was not around in the play, but that is also something he is used to by now. His mother's sticky notes guide him to the fridge where a depressing-looking slob of food is kept. Danny's mother also knows about his infatuation with Sam and encourages her son to talk to her, through the sticky notes, of course. Unlike the other children, the Beckles twins live near the town's center. Their family runs a store on the ground floor of their home. Charlie and Sam rush to their attic room where we see the difference between the identical twins. Sam is an anxious girl who is always nervous about everything not being done to perfection. Charlie, on the other hand, is a carefree girl who doesn't believe too much in order. There is a tape that divides the room in two halves, each for one sister. Sam's end is squeaky clean while Charlie's end is messy with toys overflowing from under the bed. On top of this, Sam has written prayers on her bedside so that Santa would see her as a good girl and gift her a shiny new guitar. Charlie, meanwhile, has a cheeky little poster threatening Santa to give what she wishes. Sam is horrified by her sister's lack of decorum and points out that Father Santa wouldn't like that threat. But Charlie is convinced that the old bearded dude gets her. This is when the two sisters realize that it has started to snow outside. Sam looks outside, mesmerized by the first snowflakes gently dropping down. That is, until she notices their neighbor whose pet dog seems to be missing a portion of its fur. She realizes that her twin sister had used it as the beard prop in the earlier play. Sam warns Charlie that if she doesn't stop being naughty, Santa will not leave her any presents, and it will be the worst Christmas ever. The following day, the town of Wellington wakes up to heavy snowfall. Our narrator Santa says this might not always be a straightforward good thing, as snow can complicate a lot of things. Lighthouse Bill sees the heavy snow and a fox nearby and realizes that his community activities have a real chance to get canceled. Since the snowfall is heavy, the local school is closed and the children name it Snow Day. They are happy as this means they won't have to read boring algebra or give any tests. Everyone is up, screaming and excited except Nurse Williams, who wakes up late due to tiredness from her night shift. Her alarm goes off and she realizes she is running late. Luckily, her son Danny, who is already up, has made and packed sandwiches and coffee for her downstairs. It is obvious that it is a regular thing in the Williamson household that Danny grows up all alone in the house. He doesn't seem to mind it, however, as he is busy watching his favorite monster truck show on the iPad. This also means that his mother fails to see the notification for the school's closure. Danny, unaware of the local custom of Snow Day, soon trudges his way to school. When he gets to school, he sees his teacher, Mrs. Trapper, put up a sign that says school is closed. He, just like anyone else, is scared of her. Danny tries to leave, but Mrs. Trapper notices him and stops him before he can sneak away. She then accurately points out that his mother had left for work early. The poor kid says she did, and this gives the principal a chance to tell him how far behind he is in all his subjects. She has him catch up on his work due to his poor marks and teaches him everything, from physics to history. However, as the classes drag alone and Danny is the only student in the class, the poor boy starts getting sleepy. He eventually dozes off during the history lesson, which Mrs. Trapper notices. She tells him to take a break so that the cold may help him cryogenically restart his attention. During the break, Mrs. Trapper notices Danny struggling to make a snowman. He rolls around a bit of snow and places it somewhere. Then, he repeats the process, but cannot get one ball of snow to stack on top of another. Mrs. Trapper, slightly irritated by his incompetence, comes out and tells him that he should stack a smaller pile on top of a bigger pile. In response, Danny laments that he has been trying to do so for the longest time. For some reason or the other, he cannot simply build a snowman. Then, Mrs. Trapper gets her hands wet and shows the boy how to pile up the snow. She, with rather ruthless efficiency, quickly builds a snowman which has a frown on his face. Danny is pleasantly surprised as to how such a strict teacher would know something childish like building a snowman. He asks her this question, and we see a glint of sadness trace past Mrs. Trapper's eyes. She quickly dismisses it and tells Danny to build the snowman a wife. Positively surprised, Danny follows his teacher's guidance and finally makes a snow woman. As if this wasn't surprising enough, Mrs. Trapper allows the boy to spend the rest of his class time playing in the snow. It is obvious that Mrs. Trapper wasn't always a strict, no-nonsense woman that she is now. As she heads back to the school building, she looks back sadly at the snowman standing right next to the snow woman. On the way home, Danny heads back home and he notices how miserable Mrs. Trapper looks. It is revealed that they live across from each other. The following day, Christmas Eve, Danny's mother tells him to drop by Sam's family's store to get something for his father. Danny nervously prepares a speech but freezes upon seeing her. He notices the shop is closed and Sam gives him some candy for his father and invites him in. But Danny refuses, scolding himself for doing so, and falls into the snow. Sam asks if he is okay, and unbeknownst to Danny, Charlie teases Sam about her crush on Danny. When Danny arrives home, he is called by his father, who tells him that he is unable to come due to the snow. His mother comforts him when she gets home. As Danny sleeps, Santa visits, and upon learning of the current events in Danny's life, leaves him something special. In the morning, Danny wakes up to a full stocking and finds a quad bike in front of his house. Danny is overjoyed, but becomes disheartened when he learns his mother has to work as the lighthouse keeper's mother is sick. They have a small fight before she leaves. Upon seeing Mrs. Trapper alone, Danny offers to have lunch with her, but she refuses and convinces him to see things from his mother's perspective. After Mrs. Trapper is alerted of stranded motorists, she enlists Danny's help to get Farmer Ural to get the motorists to safety and helps Danny make an igloo for his mother. When his mother gets home, she is overjoyed. They offer Mrs. Trapper a place at their table, but she refuses and looks through a box of mementos belonging to her late husband, Jamie. The following snow day, the twins play in the snow and Sam watches as Charlie pulls a prank on their neighbor who is mean to her dog. Their mother scolds Charlie and has the twins read. As their mother plays the piano, Sam notices Charlie check something off a piece of paper. The following day, Christmas Eve, the family is forced to go to Farmer Ural for turkeys, who kills them just before selling them, as the butcher could not get a shipment in due to the snow. Sam protests as he is cruel, but they go anyway. At the farm, Charlie sneaks away to try and free the turkeys. Sam detracts Farmer Ural while Charlie frees the turkeys. As everyone chases the birds, Sam chastises Charlie for her actions, as she fears it will reflect on her, upsetting Charlie. That night, Sam cleans her sister's side of the room. When Santa comes, he knows one twin has been good, while the other has been naughty. He confuses the twins and leaves Charlie the presents. She wakes up, overjoyed to find presents, but sadly sees Sam's empty stocking and realizes they are meant for her sister. Charlie moves everything to her sister's stocking and goes to bed. Santa gets a reading that Charlie is in fact nice and returns. Charlie wakes up hearing her sister's cries of joy. As she congratulates Sam, she points towards Charlie's stocking to find it full. The twins show their parents and Charlie finds a button saying, "Officially nice" in her stock, but keeps it from her family. Later, she accidentally destroys an ornament and Sam questions how her sister got her gifts. As Charlie is untidying her side of the room, Sam finds Charlie's notes and realizes she did all those things to help Sam, even developing a plan to get her and Danny together. After the play, the McNutts drive home with their neighbors. The following day is a snow day. Bernadette and her younger sister Evie play with their neighbors, Nisha and the Forrest siblings Teddy and Scarlett, as their parents talk about Bernadette watching the kids as they go to a wedding the following day. On Christmas Eve, the McNutts, the Forrests, and Nisha's mother go to a wedding as the kids get a barn near their houses, ready for their annual Christmas traditions. When the adults leave the reception, it has heavily snowed and they are forced to take the long way home. After avoiding a turkey, they go off the road and slide down a slope. They inform their children that they will be home later than expected and have them stay together for the night. As the kids get ready for bed, Evie expresses her disappointment that her parents are not home as everyone falls asleep. After learning of their situation, Santa leaves them peculiar gifts. When they wake up on Christmas morning, they find their gifts, and Bernadette leads them in having the Christmas they want. During a game of hide and seek, Evie gets out. Meanwhile, the parents struggle to get up the slope, and Mr. McNutt gives his wife a gift, a fully charged phone. After berating him for keeping it to himself, they call their children and emergency services. After neither pickup, Mr. Forrest calls Mrs. Trapper as the others are too terrified of her. Soon enough, Farmer Ural arrives and helps them. He hauls them back to their houses and they are greeted by their children. However, they notice that Evie is missing and they search for her, getting the entire town involved. Mrs. Trapper enlists the help of Danny, and he takes her to the McNutt house where she takes command. As the Beckles search, the twins' parents berate Charlie for her method of searching, but Sam defends her sister by saying she is simply doing things her own way. The girls go on ahead and run into Danny on his quad bike. They join him and, after noticing the light, Danny heads to the lighthouse. They enlist the help of Bill and they find something in the snow and keep the light on it, seeing that Bernadette is close to the object. Bernadette sees it and realizes it is Evie's favorite toy. She followed footprints to the water and, believing her sister has drowned, falls to her knees and cries as Danny and the twins arrive. While Sam and Charlie comfort Bernadette, Danny notices Lighthouse Bill flashing the light on a set of footprints. They follow them to a row of beach huts and find Evie sheltering with several turkeys. Bernadette hugs her sister as the others inform the town that Evie has been found. After Bernadette and Evie's parents arrive, Bernadette apologizes to her mother for losing Evie as her mother forgives her. After learning Danny thought of using the lighthouse, Bernadette hails him as a hero. In the moment, Danny asks out who he thinks is Sam, but is really Charlie. Sam agrees, and after Danny gets over a moment's shock, they all laugh. The following day, Boxing Day, Lighthouse Bill goes to the beach to swim in the cold ocean. Thinking he will do it alone, he is overjoyed upon seeing half the town arrive. Sam leads Danny into the surf by the hand and, as they look into each other's eyes, are knocked over by a wave. Charlie joins them soon after. Bernadette holds Evie as they go in. Nisha has her mother hold her phone as she and the Forests go in. Mrs. Trapper and Danny's mother are some of the last to go in. Once everyone is in the water, they enjoy themselves.